With the first regular session of the South Carolina General Assembly just days away, District 84 residents are wondering if they will be represented in the State House. Last week, Representative Chris Corley was arrested and charged with criminal domestic violence and pointing a weapon. News Channel 6's Stephanie Bornman is live in the newsroom tonight. Stephanie, for now, Corley is still the state representative for District 84.
Jenny, right, Corley is allowed to remain in office unless he is indicted on those federal charges. So for now, he still represents nearly 37,000 people in the state house. But those constituents could go unrepresentative if the lawmaker is indicted or resigns.
I think he should resign. That would be the right thing to do.
I would rather see proof of exactly what happened.
Waves of mixed emotions are running through South Carolina's District 84 since people learned of the criminal domestic violence charges against the area's state representative, Christopher Corley.
So we came to the state representative's office to give him a chance to talk. He is not here today, but they did give me a card and said I could email him any questions. I wanted to ask if he's going to be resigning or if he will be present at the General Assembly that is next week.
While Corley has not commented on whether or not he will be at the General Assembly, replacing the state representative could cost taxpayers more than $30,000 to hold a special election. The entire process could take more than 120 days after the position becomes vacant, whether Corley is indicted and forced to resign or makes the decision to step down on his own.
Do you think he's capable of representing the Graniteville area?
Well, he could be capable of doing it, but what he did was wrong.
No, not at this time.
Still, some residents say they can't make a decision about the fate of the representative and feel it's better to leave it in the hands of the judicial system.
So he should stay in that position until he's proven guilty. I'm not a native of this country, but one thing that I learned to appreciate when I first came over was the justice system. One of the best things is the clause that innocent until proven guilty.
We have reached out to Corley for comment and we have yet to hear back. The first regular session of the General Assembly will convene on Tuesday in Columbia. Corley has a first court appearance next month in Aiken County. For both felonies, he is facing up to 15 years in prison. Jenny, back to you.
All right, Stephanie. South Carolina House representatives serve 2-year terms. Corley has represented District 84 since 2014 when, he replaced Roland Smith. He won the election with 58% of the vote that year. In 2016, the Republican incumbent ran unopposed. The next general election is in November of 2018.